Welcome back to the channel, Cowboys Nation, and today we are diving deep into some absolutely wild and bold trade rumors swirling around your Dallas Cowboys. These aren't your usual safe whispers or simple depth chart shuffles, no. What we're talking about today involves some of the biggest names in football, players that would completely reshape the Dallas Cowboys roster and could send shockwaves throughout the entire NFL. The names being mentioned are enough to make any fan's jaw drop: Jonathan Taylor, Jaelan Phillips, Tyreek Hill, and Myles Garrett. That's right, for elite, game-changing stars, all reportedly linked, in some capacity, to bold conversations about what the Cowboys might do to finally push this team over the top and end a decades-long Super Bowl drought. If these rumors have even a sliver of truth, it means Jerry Jones and company could be preparing to shake the NFL landscape in a way we haven't seen in years. Let's start by addressing the big elephant in the room. The Cowboys have talent, no question. Dak Prescott is still one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC, CeeDee Lamb is a superstar in the making, Micah Parsons is arguably the most dangerous defensive player in football, and the offensive line, while aging, still has firepower. But every season seems to follow the same frustrating pattern: a strong regular season, a playoff appearance, and then a heartbreaking exit that leaves fans asking what it's going to take to finally get over that hump. Could it be that Jerry Jones is finally willing to go all in, to push future draft picks, cap space, and depth aside to bring in pure star power? According to the chatter coming from league insiders, that might be exactly what's happening right now. Jonathan Taylor is the first name that's being thrown around, and you know how Jerry Jones loves a flashy, headline-grabbing running back. Ever since Ezekiel Elliott's production dipped, Dallas has been searching for that next big back to carry the load and set the tone offensively. Tony Pollard is explosive, yes, but he's not a bruiser. He's not the kind of back who can carry 25 to 30 times a game in the cold months when playoff football demands balance and toughness. Taylor, a former rushing champion, is still just 25 years old, and when healthy, he's a top 5 running back in the league without question. The Colts may be willing to deal if the price is right, especially with contract disputes and a team still figuring out its long-term direction. Imagine Dak Prescott with Jonathan Taylor behind him, a legitimate threat to dominate on the ground while keeping defenses honest, opening up CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jake Ferguson in the passing game. A move like that could completely redefine the Cowboys' offensive identity. Then there's Jaelan Phillips. If you're talking about players that fit the Cowboys' defensive DNA, Phillips is right near the top. The young edge rusher out of Miami has been making waves with the Miami Dolphins as a relentless, high-motor pass rusher who can also hold his own against the run. Pairing him with Micah Parsons would give Dallas arguably the scariest pass-rushing duo in the NFL. Picture quarterbacks lining up against the Cowboys knowing that Micah is coming from one side and Phillips from the other. It's a nightmare scenario for opposing offenses. The Cowboys' defense is already among the league's best, but adding a young, athletic, versatile piece like Phillips would keep that unit dominant for years to come. Of course, the price wouldn't be cheap. Young pass rushers with that much upside costs premium picks, possibly even proven starters. But if Dallas is serious about building a defense capable of winning a Super Bowl in today's pass-heavy NFL, it's a move worth considering. Now we have Tyreek Hill in the mix, and this is where things go from bold to downright insane. Tyreek Hill, arguably the fastest man in football, the player who can single-handedly tilt the field every time he touches the ball. Adding Hill to a receiving core that already features CeeDee Lamb would be something straight out of Madden. The Cowboys' offense would instantly become one of the most explosive in NFL history. Hill's ability to stretch defenses vertically would force safeties to stay deep, opening up not just passing lanes underneath for Lamb, Cooks, and Ferguson, but also the running game. It would make Dak Prescott's life infinitely easier and force defensive coordinators to pick their poison. Now, the likelihood of Miami even listening to offers for Tyreek Hill seems slim. But we've seen stranger things in the NFL, especially if teams are looking to retool, move money around, or take advantage of massive draft pick hauls. If Jerry Jones wants to go nuclear with this offense, adding Tyreek Hill would be the most aggressive way to do it. Finally, there's Myles Garrett, and this one is the kind of rumor that makes you stop, stare, and wonder if the NFL world is just trolling Cowboys fans or warning the league of something terrifying that might actually be in play. Myles Garrett is not just good, he's generational. He's a pass rusher who changes games, someone who can wreck an offensive line by himself and tilt the momentum of an entire game on one play. If somehow the Cowboys were able to land Garrett, pairing him with Micah Parsons would give Dallas two of the best defensive players in the entire league, both in their primes, both capable of taking over games at will. It would make this defense a championship-caliber unit overnight, a group capable of shutting down even the most explosive offenses. Now, the cost for Garrett would be astronomical, multiple first-round picks, maybe even star players in return, but Jerry Jones has said before that he's willing to risk future assets for the chance to win right now, and that's what a deal like this would represent, a full-on Super Bowl or bust gamble. What makes these rumors so fascinating is how they fit into the current state of the Cowboys roster and cap situation. Dallas has key contracts coming up. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and others will all command big money. There's a window here, right now, before all of those deals hit the books, where the Cowboys can be aggressive, push chips to the center of the table, and try to build a super team. But make no mistake, pulling off even one of these trades would take guts, creativity, and a willingness to take on risk. The Cowboys front office has been more conservative in recent years, building through the draft, finding value in mid-tier free agents, and relying on coaching to elevate the roster. But that approach hasn't gotten them past the divisional round. Maybe, just maybe, the time has come to break from that formula and make the kind of move that defines an era. If we zoom out and think about the ripple effect of even one of these trades happening, the NFL landscape would be changed overnight. Imagine the NFC East with a Dallas team featuring Tyreek Hill and Jonathan Taylor on offense, or Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett on defense. Suddenly, the Cowboys would not just be contenders, they'd be favorites, maybe even the team everyone is chasing. Philadelphia would feel the heat, San Francisco would have to rethink their defensive matchups, and every other NFC team would be adjusting to a new reality where the Cowboys are not just talented, but loaded with superstars at every level. Of course, there's the other side of this equation, the price. Dallas would almost certainly have to part with multiple first-round picks, possibly young stars like Trayvon Diggs or even established veterans to make the salary cap math work. The future could get thin, the draft pipeline could dry up, and if things don't pan out, the team could find itself in a hole that takes years to climb out of. That's the nature of bold moves in the NFL, high risk, high reward. But for a franchise that hasn't lifted the Lombardi Trophy since the 1990s, perhaps the bigger risk is doing nothing and hoping a good team eventually catches a few lucky breaks. For now, these remain rumors, intriguing, thrilling, borderline unbelievable, but in today's NFL, nothing is impossible. Stars move all the time. Front offices get aggressive when they see a window, and the right phone call can change a team's destiny in a single afternoon. Whether it's Jonathan Taylor powering the offense, Jaelan Phillips terrorizing quarterbacks opposite Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill turning the passing game into a track meet, or Myles Garrett turning the defensive line into a living nightmare for opposing offenses, each scenario represents a new version of the Cowboys, a version that's daring, dangerous, and potentially unstoppable. And as Cowboys fans know all too well, this franchise is never short on drama or ambition. Jerry Jones loves the spotlight, he loves the chase, and he loves the idea of doing something that makes the rest of the NFL stop and stare. Maybe none of these trades will ever happen. Maybe they're just smoke without fire. But maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys are finally ready to take that swing, to stop settling for good and start chasing greatness with everything they have. That's what makes this moment so exciting. The possibility, however slim, that the next time we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, we'll be talking about a roster so stacked with talent that the only question left will be not if they can win a Super Bowl, but how many they can win with this core. Thanks for watching, Cowboys Nation. If you're fired up about these rumors, let us know in the comments which trade you'd make if you were Jerry Jones, or if you'd stand pat and trust the team as it is. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more in-depth Cowboys coverage, and stay tuned because if these rumors heat up even a little, you're going to want to be here when the next big piece of news drops.